Welcome back to XRP Economic Radar. If you're holding XRP right now, a new chart analysis from Dark Defender is raising a question that could have major implications for the next phase of XRP price action. The analyst says XRP has just confirmed what he calls a double tap pattern, and his reaction was only 2 words long: oh boy. For long-term XRP holders watching every move in the market, that comment immediately sparked attention. Is this the beginning of a powerful XRP breakout? Or are investors getting ahead of themselves once again? With XRP prediction discussions heating up and Ripple news continuing to dominate crypto conversations, what happens next could matter more than many investors realize. The reason this development is generating so much interest isn't simply because another analyst shared a bullish chart. It's because the pattern being highlighted points to something traders constantly search for: evidence that a correction may have ended and a recovery phase may be beginning. In a market where sentiment can change overnight, confirmation signals carry enormous weight. Yet there's one part of Dark Defender's analysis that many viewers may have overlooked, and understanding that detail could completely change how you interpret this latest XRP news. According to the chart shared by Dark Defender, the focus centers on 2 distinct moments in XRP's recent history. The first occurred during an earlier correction when XRP experienced a sharp decline before eventually recovering. The second occurred during the cryptocurrency's more recent pullback, when price action dipped toward the 1.09 area. On the surface, these might appear to be separate events. However, Dark Defender believes the similarities between them are significant. His use of the phrase double tap suggests that XRP may have revisited a key support structure that previously helped trigger a rebound. For traders and investors following XRP price trends, repeating patterns are often viewed as clues regarding future market direction. What makes the comparison particularly interesting is that it isn't based solely on price movement. The analysis also incorporates momentum indicators, specifically the Relative Strength Index, or RSI. During the earlier decline, RSI moved into oversold territory before eventually recovering as XRP stabilized. According to the chart, the indicator has now revisited similar levels following the recent pullback. More importantly, RSI appears to be rebounding once again. Technical analysts frequently watch these momentum shifts because they can signal changing market behavior before dramatic price moves become obvious. But the RSI wasn't the only signal appearing on Dark Defender's chart, and the next element may explain why his confidence appeared so strong. Another major component of the analysis involves Fibonacci retracement levels, tools that many professional traders use to identify support and resistance zones. At the time represented on the chart, XRP had climbed back above the 23.6% Fibonacci retracement level, near $1.21 after briefly falling below it. To technical traders, reclaiming a lost level can sometimes indicate renewed strength. Dark Defender also displayed additional Fibonacci targets near $1.32, $1.47, and $1.88. While these aren't guarantees, they represent areas the market could potentially test if recovery momentum continues. For investors searching for XRP prediction scenarios, those levels immediately became focal points because they provide a framework for measuring whether bullish momentum is actually developing. Interestingly, not everyone interpreted Dark Defender's message the same way when it first appeared. His short comment, "oh boy," created immediate speculation across the community. Some readers wondered whether the remark reflected excitement or concern. In markets as emotional as cryptocurrency, wording matters. A single phrase from a widely followed analyst can trigger very different reactions depending on how investors interpret it. That's exactly what happened here. Questions began appearing almost immediately, with followers trying to determine whether the analyst was warning investors or signaling optimism about what could be coming next for XRP. One follower, Felix Forbes, asked the question directly. He wanted clarification and simply asked whether it was a good "oh boy" or a bad "oh boy." Dark Defender's response was concise but important. He replied, "Good one." That brief answer reinforced the bullish interpretation many market participants had already assumed from the chart. Suddenly, the discussion shifted away from uncertainty about his meaning and toward debate about whether the pattern itself could lead to meaningful upside. Within the broader Ripple news community, reactions quickly began focusing on what this confirmation might mean if XRP continues following the same path outlined in the analysis. Community responses added another layer to the conversation. Some investors agreed with the optimistic outlook while still urging caution. Alina.Ross.Perrine pointed out that XRP appeared to be revisiting a familiar support structure, but emphasized that investors should wait for a more decisive breakout before becoming overly excited. Meanwhile, Rose suggested that XRP was forming what she described as a V-shaped recovery pattern, arguing that stronger prices could follow if current momentum remains intact. Then there was Eloise, who revealed that she had purchased XRP during both the earlier decline and the recent pullback. Her reasoning reflected a mindset common among experienced investors. Opportunities often emerge before the broader market recognizes them. Yet one critical factor remains unresolved, and it may ultimately determine whether this setup succeeds or fails. For long-term XRP holders, the most important takeaway isn't necessarily the projected targets or the excitement surrounding a chart pattern. The key issue is confirmation. Technical formations become significantly more meaningful when they are supported by continued buying pressure and sustained price strength. While Dark Defender sees encouraging similarities between the two market corrections, even bullish analysts understand that no technical setup guarantees future performance. Crypto markets remain highly volatile, and sentiment can shift rapidly in response to broader economic conditions, regulatory developments, or unexpected market events. That's why cautious investors often look for multiple signals before increasing their confidence in any single prediction. The broader significance extends beyond XRP itself. Whenever a major cryptocurrency begins showing signs of stabilization after a correction, traders across the market pay attention. Momentum in one digital asset can influence sentiment elsewhere, especially when that asset maintains a passionate and active community. Ripple supporters have spent years navigating periods of uncertainty, making technical signals like this particularly noteworthy. If XRP continues strengthening and begins approaching the higher Fibonacci levels identified on the chart, market confidence could improve substantially. However, if momentum stalls, investors may need to reassess whether the double tap pattern truly signaled the beginning of a constructive recovery phase. Looking ahead, market participants will likely focus on whether XRP can maintain support above recently reclaimed levels and continue building upward momentum. Analysts will also be watching RSI behavior closely to determine whether the indicator's rebound develops into a sustained trend. The projected Fibonacci levels around $1.32, $1.47, and $1.88 are likely to remain important checkpoints as traders evaluate the strength of any recovery. For now, Dark Defender's analysis suggests that XRP may have entered a potentially constructive stage, but confirmation will come from price action itself. As always, the market will deliver the final verdict, and XRP investors should keep a close eye on every signal emerging from the charts. If you enjoyed this XRP news update and want more coverage of XRP price action, Ripple news, XRP prediction analysis, crypto market developments, and the stories shaping the future of digital assets, make sure to subscribe to XRP Economic Radar. Don't forget to like the video, share it with fellow XRP holders, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe Dark Defender's double tap confirmation could lead to a major XRP breakout? Or are you waiting for stronger confirmation before getting bullish? Let us know below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on XRP Economic Radar.